Hey guys, Ryan here, and today I'm going to be bringing you two replays in the 279A. Now usually, if I'm doing two replays, I'll do them in two separate videos, but I decided to make this video as one because it's going to be two replays on the same map in the same tank. So I'm two with Felix, he's in his E4, I'm in the 279A, a tank I don't play too often. And the whole point of this game here is that it's on Kidder map. It's a map I like to go 1-2 line from the spawn that I'm at, but there's 3 artillery platoon together. So I'm going to try something I don't normally do in heavy tanks, and that is I'm going to go to the center of the map, towards where the factory is, because in my head that looks like the safest place from artillery. Now I've never been there before, to the center of the factory in a heavy tank, so I'm just going to go there and see if it works. Now, the thing about these two games is this was played just about midnight, and it was my last game of the evening. Then the next day, my very first game, I decided I'll play the 279A because I had a good game in it the previous evening, and I can end up on the same map, and I'm going to try the same thing, and we'll see how it turns out the second time in a row. So these are technically two back-to-back games, but there was a 13-hour time difference between when I played them, but these were one game after the other in the battle log. So I'm now going to use these large structures to try and cover me from the artillery, but I do have to just try and guess where they are at the moment because they've not been spotted and I've not seen them fire yet. Now I have been spotted. I am in a heavy tank, they have medium, so it's not really too much of a surprise. Shadow's shooting at me, but at this distance I feel fairly safe. Now E50 shows up, so I'm going to reverse angle. He's actually firing high explosive at me. I don't know why he's firing high explosive. I would say maybe he thought a light tank or light medium was going to be here, but I was spotted for a while, so he knew it was me. Shadow gets a shot into me as I'm turning around, so you see I'm going to start driving forwards. One, to cut off the E50M, but also I need to get out of range of that projectile. So you're going to say, I'm going to turn around to make sure that the structure is behind me and is between me and the projectile. And now I'm going to deal with the E50. The thing about the E50M is, it has one of, if not the worst DPMs of all the tier 10 mediums. It does get around me and gets a shot to my side, and as I go around the corner he does get another shot in front of me and kills my driver. Now he's at the other side of the structure, he's no longer a threat to me while he's just sat there, so I'm going to try and help Felix by getting a couple of shots across. Unfortunately missed the projectile, he's moving backwards and forwards. The E50 comes around, I'm going to back up to cut him off from getting behind me, and then I can just put a shot into his turret. Now again, I'm going to have a look, see if I can help Felix. They've got a tortoise and a waffle at the back, which is quite terrifying. Highest DPM in the game, and the waffle with 3000 clip potential. That's not something you want to be sat in front of. Felix picks up the kill on the projectile, and now I don't really have shots at anyone, so I decided I'm going to push a bit further forward, and potentially, depending how it looks when I get over here, deal with that convoy if I can. I do now have a teammate here who's shown up. Now Felix is unfortunately being killed. I'm just going to snap a shot into the convoy with auto aim and then look to my left to try and keep an eye on where the tortoise and the waffle is. I'm going to angle for the convoy, he misses me, put another shot into him. And now I'm just going to hope that an enemy can finish him off, so that a teammate can finish him off before the convoy gets another shot into me. He does, And I'm going to turn around and head towards the Tortoise and the Waffly 100. I do have to be worried though, because there's 3 artillery. Excuse me. I've literally just woken up and started doing this commentary, so excuse the yawns, but I am quite tired. Waffle's been spotted. I'm thinking he might be about to come over the train track, so I'm just keeping an eye. He doesn't come over. Now moving. Now I don't really want to actually see these guys. I'm just kind of checking to make sure they're not coming over here. Because as I said, I am not on a lot of hit points. Considering the Waffle has 3,000 clip potential and the Tortoise has well over 3,000 DPM. So again, 2 terrifying tanks. As yeah, I'm playing it quite safe. Spot the Tortoise. I shoot the wrong side, because you know the weak point, but you can also like shoot through the superstructure, but I shot the wrong side. Our artillery makes quick work of the Tortoise, and then unfortunately for me, the Waffle is on full health, which is, again, not very good for me. I keep on the map to have a look at where my 2 other heavies are. Our TD's still at base, which isn't very useful, considering that we know their Waffle's down here. Now you see, I'm worried to push out, not just because of the Waffle at this point, but the 3 artillery are platooned together, and you know they're waiting in the shotgun mode, and as I said, I don't have much hit points left. The other issue is one of their artillery is the French one, and can therefore do about 70 kilometers an hour. Our 260 gets RT'd. I'm coming around this way. Doherty has been spotted down there. Waffle has been spotted, so now it's just put a shot in and pray I can bounce. But turns out he's actually going to aim for my teammate anyway. And luckily for me, artillery on my team is going to prove very useful here, because now the Waffle has a lot of hit points, but they already took off 800, and now I only need to hit him with that first shot, and now one more shot to finish him. I'm trying to stay angled. Finish him off. And now I'm worried, because I've been spotted and I've just killed the Waffle, I'm worried that an artillery is about to come racing around that corner to shoot me in the face. And I'm expecting the French one, as I said earlier, because obviously he's the fastest one and has a turret. So I start moving away from that corner. You'll see our French artillery has actually raced up here to join me. Now I need to be careful coming out here, because I know there's an artillery down in this gap somewhere, or he's last spotted there, but I'm worried that he might have a teammate over to my right somewhere, so if I pop out and hide around the corner from him, his teammate might be across the map and can shoot me. So I've decided I don't want to go out there for him, in case I get shot from the right hand side by one of his teammates. Now our Batard decided he wants to try it, which is not ideal. As you can see, one of there already was indeed over there. Our Wolf finishes him off, but that means he might have shot me had I pushed the bat chat. I do get shotgunned by the ZW-100 because artillery has too much health for me to one-shot. And that's always the worst when you can't one-shot artillery. And you have to fight against them. And now that I've killed him, I'm expecting their bat chat to come racing out, and let's see what happens. Thankfully he's a one-shot, and he's in artillery. Yeah. Now, artillery has horrible aim time, and I'm assuming at the speed he was going at and turning his turret to aim at me, his aiming reticle was probably the size of his entire screen. But not an issue. RNG is a bitch sometimes, and I just got the raw end of it. So I'm going to skip to the end of this game because it's just our Waffle chasing down an artillery, because obviously, as I said, the batch can do like 70 kilometers an hour. A few minutes later, Waffle finally aims in, picks up the kill, and although RNG fucked me a little there and the bat chat got me, I still had a great game. from a position that I've never really been to before, my heavy tanks, and I just thought I'd try, just to avoid artillery. So I made 8,000 profit because I don't think I fired any premium, 4,500 damage, 3,300 assistance for almost 8k combined, 2,800 blocked, and 3 kills for the ace tanker. Now, as I said, that was my first time really trying that, and only because of the threat of artillery, because again there was 3 of them, all tuned together. So that was my last game of the evening, and then the next day, I come on the tanks, on my very first game, I decided to pick the 2790 again, because I don't play this tank too often, but I had a good game the previous evening, so I thought I'll try it again, and see if I can have another good game, and hopefully work for the contract as well. And you'll see I get the exact same map, but I'm at the other spawn. And I'm platooned with Luke this time instead of Felix, and he says, where do I think we should go? And I say to him, there's 2 artillery, so I'm going to try and go factory again. It worked for me last night when I went there, but I was at the other spawn. So at this point I'm just intrigued to see if it works the same from this spawn. So it's 2 tier 10 artillery, and it's a bat chat again, so I'm getting a bit of I'm getting a few flashbacks of the previous evening, and that bat chat already shotgunning me, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Luke's in his Object 260, and he's decided he's going to follow me to the factory. Now, speaking of artillery, there's been an event recently where Wargaming are putting in on the map rotation, making certain maps appear more frequently, and it's all maps that are good for light tanks and tank destroyers. And they're doing this because light tanks and tank destroyers are all on discount, and just as a thing to get people to play them more, they're giving light tanks and tank destroyer players better maps for them more often. Unfortunately, what Wargaming seem to not realise is that the maps that are good for light tanks and tank destroyers are also good for artillery. So recently it's just been, artillery has been fucking painful to play against, because they keep getting on maps where they could just molest you. 200 LT fucks up here. I don't think he was expecting to see 2 Russian heavy tanks over here. Then he does something really weird on cover, but he doesn't. So that's a tier 10 light tank dealt with, although he just went full panic mode when he saw us. As I said, I don't know if heavy tanks usually go here, and he was just surprised, but I'm not complaining. Tier 10 light tank out the game. But yes, anyway, this event for the light tanks and tank destroyers, I'm not a fan of it, just because I keep, in like 8 games, I got Prokhorovka 4 times, and Prokhorovka with artillery is fucking painful. And just like this happened at the worst time. I'm doing a contract where I have to block damage and play heavy tanks. And all of a sudden, during that, they give me a fucking 5-day period of lots of fucking artillery maps, and because of that, there's lots of people playing artillery, because even though it is a light tank and tank destroyer thing, all people who play World of Tanks, and already players, also realise that the maps that are good for them are good for artillery, and I refuse to believe that Wargaming didn't realise that this would be a thing. But anyway, I'm ranting a little bit about how shit the game's been recently for heavy tanks. Or at least slower heavy tanks. So I've just kind of been dicking around playing light tanks and tanks I don't really play, and tanks that won't work for my contract. I'm just trying to play faster vehicles, and vehicles that have a slight chance of dodging artillery. So see, we engaged the Conqueror a little bit in the side from the centre of the map. Ship barn gets spotted, so I'm going to drive forward to use the houses as cover from artillery, and also to avoid the ship barn. The 279E is in front of me, and I do actually have his side at the moment. I get an engine fire. He does put it out, and now I'm going to start loading heat halfway through this reload, because he's starting to turn towards me, and he's a very long distance, so trying to get cupola snipe be quite difficult. He hits my tracks, and I nail the shot into his upper plate. You'll see our teams have lost 2 people. We're absolutely destroying the enemy right now. And now it's time to push in. Now you're going to see, between the 2 already there, because of what happened the previous evening, I'm aiming straight for that bat shot. See if I could get lucky and high roll him. That would have been justice, but I never high roll artillery, so it's just the way it is. I'm going to high roll on regular tanks fairly often, but whenever I'm fighting artillery, like Wargaming just never want to let me one-shot them. Now I need to be careful because I know the ship barn's just around this corner, but I did just see him right there fire his gun. So now, me, Luke and this light tank are going in. The light tank's actually going after the artillery, but that's fine. Luke bounces off the gun of the FE405, and now we're just going to bully him a little bit. And push him up the thing. Now I'm still at full health, but unfortunately I'm going to push the shipwright up so much that he actually starts crushing my tank a little bit, I believe. And I take a little bit of damage. And there you go, a nice easy game. And again, it's from taking that center of the map spot in the factory. So, I'd still rather go 1-2 line, if possible, from the other spawn, and fight down there. But if there's artillery, I just quite like coming to that spawn. It seems to work, and I've not been shot by artillery whilst I've been there. Me and Luke do the most damage to our team, not including artillery, but, you know, it's artillery. And again, that map, I'm actually starting to enjoy it now that I've a new little spot I can go to where already can't hit me. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll see you all in the next one.